In 2020, Tokyo Auto Salon, that was parked in the Nissan booth, right?
You're right. Absolutely.
What a display. So what do we actually have here? This is
the test car that we use to homologate and do all the tests, endurance, and performance for the production version. So basically, it's the very first production vehicle that came out from the line in Italdesign.
So then, is this owned by Italdesign?
Yes.
So then what's that? Is that owned by Nissan?
That is owned by Nissan. It's the Nissan show car that we presented in Goodwood 2018, July, the very first time.
But this is a functioning car.
This is fully functional, yes. But of course, not homologated because it was not fully engineered yet for the production. We have some elements like the top part of the dashboard that is not like the production one, for example, and the rear mirror.
So this is the first one?
Yes, correct.
Interesting. This is such a cool project to me because this wasn't designed by Italdesign.
No. It was designed by Nissan, specifically ND, Nissan Design Europe. And they also stayed with us for a couple of months to refine the design according to the engineering feedback. And then it was, of course, engineering and built in Italdesign.
And that's the thing that I never really understood, and I'm learning so much about this coming here today.
Yep.
I thought it was just Italdesign, and I thought it was just the design portion. I didn't realize it was Italdesign and engineering.
It was born as a celebration of 50th anniversary for Italdesign, and then the 50 years anniversary of the GT-R. But mainly, it was fully engineered in Italy, in Italdesign.
So because I'm learning about all this stuff in terms of Italdesign being able to create these prototype cars that are eventually going to make it to production, the experience that you get from doing those kind of jobs and that kind of work, does that lend to building cars like this, like
yes,
very low volume?
Of course, because what we learn from the normal mass production can be implemented in a few of. One of the most difficult obstacles is the homologation, because you have to make a car that can be homologated to be drivable on the road and not just on a test track, for example. So there is a know-how exchange between the normal production and the few off. That's why we are capable of moving from the show car that is not homologated to a fully functional homologated.
And the difference to me, or something that I always like to ask designers, is that if they even consider the engineering aspect or the functionality aspect, but because the company as a whole and then the automotive group specifically works so closely together, you can't have one without the other then.
Correct. It's a correct consideration because sometimes it's easy to design something that cannot be produced. So our strength is to design something that is always considering the feasibility and the production, because the customer are asking for a short time project. We have to design something that can be produced in a fast way.
What people don't really understand is when you look at something like this, it's very easy to dismiss this as a modified R35, but it's beyond that. There's just so much that goes into it. Like you mentioned before we started rolling, the roof actually gets chopped. 45
millimeters lower. All the body structure of the original donor car has been modified, so underneath structure is completely new. The track is wider. So it's really a complex few-off project because we just not modified the exterior, but we modified the interior.
Right, so is the door stock or is this modified?
It's modified, completely new door skin. So it's all panel beaded by hand. The inner structure is carryover, but the outer skin is completely new in steel.
See, that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. This is a very expensive vehicle.
Yes.
And there's a reason why it's expensive. It's because it legitimately was hand-built.
Yes. If you consider that a normal GT-R is produced in basically in one day, it takes from 6 to 8 months to produce one because it's really all handmade. And we modify every aspect of the car, exterior, interior, plus the powertrain.
And as you mentioned before, this is, in your eyes, is more of a piece of art
yes, absolutely.
than a modified tuner car.
if you see the people that are panel beating the steel panel, is really an art. There is a craftsmanship, and they're creating from a normal flat metal sheet all the shape that you see here.
So then everything has changed. This has changed. The side skirt, carbon. This is carbon.
Lamps.
The lamps, the entire front end. So then when you're actually building these cars, they come as a stock Nismo R35
Correct.
GT-R.
Correct. 2021 model.
And then that's, you just take it apart completely down to metal?
Yes.
Or how does that work?
We strip down to metal, and when we start modifying the inner structure, because as we say, the roof is lower, the rear is narrower, so we have to modify the inner parts, and then we start assembling the outer panels, the carbon parts and the steel parts, and then we install the interior parts and the new powertrain that is provided by Nismo.
It's just, it is really striking. You know, you don't really see a lot of the differences in pictures. This truly does look like a concept car for the street.
It's a concept car, but with in mind the production, because we cannot make a concept car that cannot go in production. Otherwise, the customer wouldn't purchase it, because the end result would be too different. So always focus on the production side.
So what about the interior?
The interior is completely new. As you can see here, this is of course the show car, but we have a door panel in carbon with new trim in Alcantara. And for the show car version, we have a new parts of the top part of the dashboard, basically. But for homologation reason, we have to change in the production and installing the airbags and everything. The seats are new in terms of trimming and design with Alcantara and Poltrona Frau leather to give a high quality feeling and perception. So all the interior trim are completely new, as you can see here. Nothing is left carryover, beside the gear shift lever probably.
Have you had a chance to drive these?
Yes, in 2018, basically we had a world tour because we presented in Goodwood, then we went to Spa. We went then to US for a tour, Japan, Dubai, Hong Kong, and then US again. So exposed everywhere in the world, basically.
There was a planned 50 that you were going to produce, but then unfortunately you were only able to produce 21?
Yeah, 20. If we consider that one is 21, but basically for the customer is 20. Unfortunately, the COVID didn't support our sales plan. We were not allowed to travel anymore and finding a new customer. So the car at the end of the day is rarer than what was supposed to be because we didn't produce all 50 units.
You know, what it reminds me of, I don't know if you know about this program, but in Nissan, in the Nissan USA in the 90s, they did the Classic Z. I don't know if you know about that. I think they produced 23 or something like that, something similar.
Correct.
And they were planning on doing whatever, I don't know, 200 or so. But unfortunately, they weren't able to do that. And now those have become legendary.
Yes.
You know, for you to be able to own a Classic Z, I think about that, and I think, man, if people had the money in the 90s and they just didn't have the foresight to buy these vehicles. It's kind of the same way with this, I feel like.
Nissan has a story in this field because also if you consider the Camry at the end of the day was produced just in a limited number. So, but the nice part of our customer is that they are customers that love the GT-R. It's not just for buying and reselling it, but it's to drive it and for the love of the GT-R.
It really is truly something very, very special and very unique. So then what do we have here? What's the car that's here?
This is called Italdesign 01. It was our very first FIOF project. The purpose of this new business line was to build something that could demonstrate all our capacity. So it means styling, engineering, and production. The car is based on the Audi R8. Again, with heavy modification, because also the roof now is lower and all the panels are new, the interior also modified. We produce 5 of them, plus one that is called Duerta, that in Torino dialect means open. That is the open version of this.
Wait a minute. So then you produce 5 of them. Where are the other 4?
It was supposed to be produced only in 5 since the very beginning. Yes.
Oh, so then, but then are the other 4 in customers' hands, or?
No. We produce 5 in total of the coupe, plus one open version that is called the Duerta. So very
then
limited.
were they actually sold to customers?
All sold.
Oh, what a crazy car! Like, where do you even get this service? Do you have to go to Audi dealership or something?
Yeah, being part of the group, it has its own advantage. But normally our few of us serve at the dealer.
Amazing. What a crazy car. So then how much did this go for?
This was 1.5 million.
And they sold out right away?
All sold out immediately.
It's too bad you didn't build more.
It was the first test to see the potential of this type of project. So we didn't want to go too far. So we checked with the very first project 5. And
today we're going to be able to ride in this?
You're going to be able to drive both.
Drive?
Yeah, ride these and drive that.
Right, okay. Yes. I've never driven one of these, and these are so rare, only 21 of them. So really excited to get into this. This Mustang is just so ridiculous. I don't even know where to start with it. Like, let's start with the grill. It's a bunch of little Mustangs that make up the grill. But this is interesting. It actually kind of reminds me of the design that the Mustangs have now.
Yeah, you're right, Larry. Our scope is to make interpretation of some vehicles, and then it's up to the OEM to take the suggestion of our interpretation and implement in the production version. But we usually pay homage to some iconic model of the automotive.
Yeah, like the interior. Like, first of all, crazy scissor doors, but the interior is wild. I have never seen anything like this. Look at this. It's like raw hide with this like leather. I don't even know what you call it.
Leather.
Uncured leather, or?
And you can see it's always used because our car, we use them a lot.
You drive this around?
Yes, of course. All in Italian, they are called prototipi. That means prototype, because basically they are running vehicle that can be used, and not just static show car.
This is just insane.
With a unique panoramic glass, one of the biggest we ever produced.
Yeah, so then what is this just, this was structural?
Yeah,
right?
basically at the end of being a glass is structural, yes.
What a crazy vehicle. Stang. I love that. So this was actually built for Ford?
Yes, we usually participate to Geneva Motor Show, and each year we choose one iconic car that we would like to interpret or producing a new concept vehicle. In this case, in 2006, we wanted to pay homage to the iconic.
And then you guys even did the tires?
Yes, we design tires also. This is part of our product design department. The shoulder of the tires is personalized with Giugiaro brand, Italdesign, and is made by Bradstein.
So tell me about that. What's the relation with Giugiaro design and Italdesign? Like, how do people interpret
Giugiaro was one of the 2 founders of Italdesign, along with Aldo Mantovani, that was responsible for the engineering area. Giugiaro was responsible for the design area. And basically all the design that was coming out from Italdesign, that is the name of the company, was branded Giugiaro Design.
Was ran through, or was it?
Was ran through, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So then is it still called Giugiaro Design?
No, we are mainly called Italdesign. Officially it's Italdesign Giugiaro, but the company is known as Italdesign.
Got it. Okay. This is just so ridiculous. I can't believe you guys drive that. So why is there a Volkswagen Golf GTI here?
This is one of our iconic models that was developed in Italdesign. And this is a specific GTI with a 5-door US bumper and rear US light. There's only 3 in the world. It was a special present of Volkswagen to say thanks to design such an iconic car. We also modified the interior. We trim manually the interior.
Why is this badge on here? Is this...
It's part of the agreement with some OEM when we designed the car and they want to declare that it was designed here. If they wish, they can put our badge on the side.
So every one of these cars had this badge?
No, in special this GTI has this badge, but the normal Golf was known that it was designed here, but they didn't have the badge on it.
So then, like the interior and everything, is this special for this car?
Yeah, it's custom made. All the leather and the velvet was installed here in Italdesign.
Okay, so I'm confused. They sent over 3 normal cars and then you modified them.
No, they basically sent this very model and it was coming with a normal interior. Then we like to personalize even more. So that's why we trim the interior according to our design. The other 2 are in the hand, one in Volkswagen and the other one belongs to the old orchestra director Herbert von Karajan.
And then, so this is Giugiaro's personal car that he drove around?
Yes, correct. It was driven daily by him.
Now it sits in the museum. So then, this is important too in Volkswagen history in that this pretty much saved Volkswagen.
Yes, basically, if you consider that before Golf, they were selling the Beetle. It was already aging. This is the project that launched Volkswagen in the next decades, basically.
It's interesting to me because this one little design element with the red on the front of the vehicle, it's something that there's like this design element on every single other GTI model.
Yes.
Through all the generations.
It's what we call attention to the detail. Some details made it really iconic. For the GTI is this red line on the grille. In general, for the Golf is the C-post that was kept all over the generation. Reinterpreted, of course, but the C-post is one of the iconic.
This area.
Yes,
here.
Correct.
It's just so cool. It's one-off. The interior is really nice. It is so cool. Even the door panels. Wow. What a cool car. Amazing. Can we take a look at this? What is this?
This is another of our concept presented in 2013 at Geneva Motor Show. It's based on Lamborghini Gallardo. It's a V10. It was our idea of a new segment vehicle called Off-Road GT. We heavily modified the chassis and the body, of course.
Look how big this thing is.
23, if I'm correct, 23 inch. Also here you see special design shoulder.
Talk about ahead of its time because Lamborghini just...
The Sterrato.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, we propose idea, then it's up to the customer if to accept the idea and put in production. This is an adjustable setup, so there's 4 different setups. The total excursion of the suspension is 160 millimeter, and you can go off-road or on the track. Fully functional, we say. Movable pedal box, fixed seat.
What year was this?
2013.
Wow, really ahead of its time. So then around that time, it was still Giugiaro.
Yes, correct. Our logo was that one.
Oh.
Then we modify also the exhaust system.
What a crazy car. It looks like it has quite a few miles on it, huh?
Yes, as I said, we like to use our car. Cars are meant to be driven, as we always say.
Huh. What an interesting concept. You know, it's funny because you look at something like this and in 2013, I bet everybody looked at this and they're like, man, you guys are crazy. It's just too out of the box. And now you can actually buy an off-road Lamborghini.
Hey, it's part of our history to propose new segment and new ideas. And sometimes it happens, like in our history, another project that we can mention is the Lancia Mega Gamma. Basically, it was the very first MPV, and it was 1978. And then in the 80s come all the MPV.
Let's talk about this car, this Airbus thing, and then we'll
Yep.
talk about some of the industrial design.
So if we start from the Airbus collaboration, this is called the pop-up next. So it's a second reinterpretation of the project. As we said before, we like to foresee the future. So we try to combine automotive with the fly. So we have autonomous driving drone that is attached to the autonomous driving vehicle. It's divided in three. So we have the drone, we have the cabin, and we have the platform. When it's in flight mode, the cabin detached from the platform and attached to the drone through this connection system. This is a fully functional model, and the collaboration with Airbus allow us to dimension correctly the propeller and the size of the batteries inside.
So this is, what is this, like
This is a fully
1/5
functional model.
1/5 scale?
Yes, correct. 1:4, sorry.
Oh, 1/4 scale.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of this stuff. Why is there pasta here?
Pasta is part of our product design group. So in this area, we design basically everything from the pen to the space station module. And the pasta, as you can see here, the section was derived from sealing grommets of the door, meant to collect more tomato sauce, as we said. So there's always inspiration coming from automotive.
Wait a minute. This is actually, the pasta itself
Yes.
was designed.
It was designed. The shape of the pasta, you can see here better. Here is the section drawing of the pasta. And
And it's just to retain more tomato sauce?
here you can see the original drawing, and the inspiration comes from the automotive. And the discussion with the producer was the purpose is to collect more tomato sauce. So there's always combination between, you can see here another sketch.
Oh my God.
There's always an interaction from automotive design and product design, and this is our strength.
Who in their right mind looked at trim and said, that looks like good pasta?
Well, the designer have a lot of fantasy, and this is our strength, as I said, to combine elements from other field into this product.
That is the most Italian thing I've seen today.
Yes.
I can't believe you did.
There's other design that is always derived from the ceiling, so you see a different shape, but it's always inspired by automotive.
That is incredible. Okay, so then what else do we have here? What is this?
We have this basketball ball designed for molten, and the design proposal was so interesting that brought Molten to modify the rules because there was a limited section according to the rules, and we implemented this white strip to be more visible on TV because you see the rotation of the ball.
So then you have coffee machines, you have cameras.
Yeah, this is other.
What I have a question about this. So because Italdesign is so well known, and honestly, if I wanted to, I couldn't name another design company that has this sort of reach. Because it's so synonymous with industrial design, automotive, everything, are you just getting all of the best designers from the world coming to want to work with Italdesign? Is that what's happening?
Yes, correct. Having such a name in the design industry, of course, is attracting all the new designer that wants to design and work here, basically. So having designed some masterpiece help us a lot to attract new designers, as I say.
Right, because it's like something
self-generating.
Yeah, self-generating,
Yes.
because you already have such a long history. If you want to be a successful designer and you want to have the tools and you want to have the facilities and
Yes.
everything, the technology, all that, it's better to join some company like Italdesign.
Yeah.
To be able to really utilize your and potentially create your vision.
Correct. We have a 360 degrees vision, both in terms of design, but feasible design. So in terms of design, we design everything. but it's connected to the engineering that allow us to design something that is feasible, not is something that is designed on the paper that you have to completely change, as we were saying before on the GT-R. So this is our strength, feasible styling.
And that even goes all the way down to pasta. Wow.
And there were studies because the overlapping section, when you cook it, there's 2 layers. So when you cook one layer, when you start cooking, the first layer is cooked, but when it's overlapping, it's still a little bit hard. So there were also engineering studies about the thickness, the right thickness of the pasta. So seems silly, but there's always a study behind the stuff. It's not just make design.
Amazing. I love it. Let's go drive some cars.
Yes, let's have some fun.
Look at this.
This is so special.
Italdesign. Italian design.
Italian design.
Yeah. We're in the Italdesign GT-R50.
I cannot get over the fact that this is so low. Like, the seat hasn't moved, but the roof has come down, so I have to kind of slouch forward. But like the view out the front is so narrow. I feel like I'm watching a movie in like super widescreen.
Oh my god, it's fast.
Every time I drive an R35, I forget this. Like, it's so effortless. You just floor it and it just catapults. And I think this is the reason this car is still in production. It's just like, how do you top this? Like, where do you go from this? It's like,
It's so fast.
it's still very much on par with what, you know, the fastest cars around are able to deliver. So
so fast. Crazy how fast this car is. What? That is so cool.
35?
Wait. This actually has more room, or?
Less, because there's the mechanism of the wing compared to the 35.
But what is normally here on the normal 35?
The trunk.
this trunk space.
Yes.
But this is such a huge
It
room.
looks big, yeah.
It looks big, but consider that the trunk in 35, this wall
Opens up
is
like this,
basically
right?
here.
Oh.
Yes, because then you.
But this is all like your design and everything.
Yes, and
or
look,
this is all.
all carbon structure also. The parcel shelf is also carbon.
You know what I noticed also is the glass is custom, because
You have the GT-R50.
this has to be shorter, right?
Yes, so and you have to homologate. So the problem of a normal car that are made not for homologation, you can have a lot of shortcut. Here you have to homologate, so you need a stamp, and here you have also GT-R50 logo.
No way.
So then what happens if one of the owners damages their windshield?
We have
What
spare parts.
You do?
We provide all the spare parts in case of repairing. Of course, you have to.
Sorry for
That is so neat.
Yeah.
It's something crazy, because the foresight that you guys have for these cars. I mean, you must have some spare other things.
Yes,
like side
of course.
mirrors
We
and-
keep the basic parts that we think in case of damage are like hood, door, skin, glass, side window. So the front windshield, basically the geometry is exactly the same like 35, but we have to build a new one because it's lower. So we have to make the new molding, the new ceramic line.
much lower is it again?
Yes, 45.
45 millimeters.
45 millimeters. If you put 35 next to it,
Well, I noticed straight away
It's-
when I got in it.
it's unbuelievable.
My head is touching
Yes.
the roof and the seat is pretty much the same height.
it's so low that we don't even have the sun visor.
Oh, true. You don't need it.
You don't need it.
Built in.
You know what this is like? And
Tell
I
me.
didn't even think about it until right now. Legitimately. We have the 400R,
Yes.
we have the Z-Tune, and then we have this.
Super
Right?
limited.
right?
Yes, correct. Is in the line also the M-Spec V2 NER.
Yeah. So then, because the 400R, I think, is 32 of them, maybe?
Yes.
Something like that. The Z-Tune is 21 also,
Correct.
right? I think 21, 22?
Yeah, in that range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is 21. So it's in line with like really the Nissan specialty cars.
It's Nissan 23, we can say.
That is so cool. I didn't even think about that. I was saying this is like Dino. It's Italian Japanese.
Dino style.
But I wasn't made in Japan and refined in Italy. I was made in Italy and refined in Japan.
There you go.
So the story for the VIN for the customer. The last 3 digits, we didn't want to write in the car 150, 250 and so on. The last 3 digits of the VIN can be selected by the customer. And it's not 001, 002, it's 969, that stands for 1969, up to 019, that is 2019. So those 50 years of the GT-R. So the customer could select one of those 50 number. There's people who select the birth date, the start of their company, the sun date.
Wait, so then it's a different VIN than the donor car?
Yes, it has to be because we are registered as manufacturer. We build the car, so the VIN number is Italdesign VIN number.
So then what happens to the VIN number on the donor car? Does it just get destroyed or?
Of course, it has to be removed because, for example, in US you cannot have a double VIN. It has to be kept because when you serve it, you need the donor VIN as a reference to buy the spare parts.
So then another question is, why didn't you just start with a bare chassis? Why did you have to start with a full car?
Because it would be more complicated shipping all the single parts spare in a crate. There's the risk that something is missing. So when you receive a complete donor car, you are sure that you have everything there and it's working. And in terms of homologation, you have to start with a car with a COC. And the only way to get the COC of the donor is to have a full car.
I see. That's why it has to be painted.
Yes.
That's why it has to have all the interior,
Correct.
everything.
Correct.
So then, got it. Okay.
Because when we homologated this car, we go in front of the authority, we say, we start from a donor car, so some tests don't need to be performed because we show them the evidence that some test was already coming from the donor car.
Whoa.
So it's worth to see, vai in verticale. What is worth to see is the structure.
Oh, that's scary. Look at this.
So you see it's full visible. The pack, there is an option for the customer to have full visible carbon. And the center parts of the whole car, you have this effect. Then you can decide to paint it with tinted clear coat, like we did one with Wangan Blue.
Nice.
And the Wangan Blue tinting color on the carbon is quite impressive.
Whoa, what a piece. All right, we just drove a couple minutes to lunch, and Andrea brought out his beautiful blue FD-RX-7. This thing is so cool, very, very rare to have a right-hand drive car, a JDM car like this in Japan. But we have the Italdesign GT-R50 test car. That's what I drove here to lunch. And then we have their special one-off or 5-off car that they built. But look at the scene. We're parked next to a junkyard here. Look at this. It's like a dismantling junkyard. It's a bunch of wrecked cars. And what a scene. I mean, it's like normal car. We have 2 Italdesign specials, FD-RX-7, and then like a transporter. It's just such a, it's very special. It's very interesting to see this scene. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to support us directly, go to larrychenprints.com. I print and sign every single one of these. This is the perfect gift, or it's the perfect piece of art for your wall.